Hi everyone, welcome to Foundation Friday, where today's review and full wear test is going to be on the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Skin Tint. I have been gagging to get my hands on this. I've worn it for the last 4 days straight, so I now feel qualified to pass on my opinions to everybody. I've been so excited to try this out because I adore the other two Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing foundations. One of them is slightly more matte than the other. One of them is slightly more luminous. This is a skin tint, so is going to be sheer to light coverage, and you all know I am all for a light coveraged skin tint. I may end up wearing this all the way through winter if this is any good. Time will tell. Let's do a little bit of bump on this and we'll get some on my face. So this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. It's £35 in the UK. You get 30 ml worth of product and it comes in 12 flexible shades. I've gone for the shade 125, which is Fair Asterid. It's supposed to give a fresh, natural finish with sheer to light coverage and 12 hours worth of wear. This is also supposed to give 24 hours worth of hydration and also be shine resistant, transfer resistant, sweat and humidity resistant, waterproof and crease proof. I mean, I have never heard of a skin tint that fulfills all of those promises, so we will see. This is also alcohol-free, fragrance and essential oil-free, and it also has an SPF of 20 in here to just add that little bit extra on top of your standalone SPF. If you are sensitive to any SPF ingredients, the ingredients that make up this SPF 20 are titanium dioxide nano, titanium dioxide, and also octocrylene. Now, there was a little bit of confusion with the ingredients in this product. If you go onto the Cult Beauty website, which is where I ordered this from, the ingredients are exactly the same as the old Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing foundation. If you go onto the Shiseido website, the ingredients are the same as the self-refreshing foundation. I thought this was a little bizarre because all the ingredients are in exactly the same order until I looked at the box that this came in, where the ingredients are completely different. So I'm not quite sure if there's been a misprint somewhere, but something's gone wrong down the line. Either the ingredients on the box are incorrect or the ingredients on the website are incorrect. Got a feeling the ingredients on the website are incorrect, but the information that I've given you are from the ingredients that are on the box. I await confirmation whether they are correct or not. Okay, so as per usual, I've already got all of my skincare on my skin. I've given that plenty of time. In fact, I did the school run and came back before I'm applying this skin tint. Now, I'm going to apply this with my fingers today, but yesterday I applied it with a brush, so I will put a little video of what it looked like with brush application as well. I feel like this is, if you're wanting slightly more coverage, finger application is the way to go with this. So let me just show you the consistency on the screen for you now. This is, it looks quite a thick consistency, but actually it's quite a watery consistency when you start to massage it with your fingers. This spreads a long way. So I'm just gonna put a dab of this on each cheek, on my forehead, on my chin, and on my nose. Now, I have to prep my skin quite well anyway in the morning because I do get quite a lot of dryness around this area here. It goes without saying that I've done that again this morning, and I do have to wear quite a moisturizing SPF generally, otherwise all foundations cling to those drier areas. So I'm just going to rub this in as I would a normal moisturizer. And then we can start to blend a little bit better. So let me just show you while I'm just finishing this off what this actually looked like after brush application yesterday on one half of my face. You can see that it's completely cancelled out any of my redness. It's evened my skin tone out a little bit. It's very light coverage though. You can still see everything through it. So any pimples that I have on my skin, any discoloration, any freckles that I already have on my skin. It's not cancelling those out, so it's not going to give you that flawless, full coverage complexion, but it's definitely made my skin look like a better version of itself. So this is definitely a light wash of coverage. If you are one of those people that likes that medium to full coverage, this is not going to be for you. But I, at this point in the day, really like this skin tint. It's just given me enough. And sometimes I need those days where I just need a little bit, but not a lot. And this is that for me. It's really nice. As you can see, you can still see some acne scarring through here. I have a little pimple down here, which won't leave me alone. I think it likes me. Also one here as well. And I have a little bit of discoloration on my forehead, which this is still poking through. But all my redness has been cancelled out. Everything is just more even and will look far better when I have all of my other products on, just to zhuzh it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go and do that now and I'll be back in a sec. So this is the finished look for today. I think it's really light and fresh and perfect for those summer days when you don't want anything heavy on your skin at all. I will tell you though, this took quite a while to sink in and dry down. And the reason it took a while, because it didn't yesterday, is because I've worn a different SPF today. So this will wear depending on what products you have underneath it. If you put something on that is quite reflective and nourishing and hydrating and sits on the surface of the skin, this is going to take a little bit longer to dry down like it has done for me today. Yesterday, I used something a little less nourishing and didn't have an issue with it. So we'll see how it wears today, but I do have some footage of how it wore yesterday, just in case it does not go well for me today. I will also say I used a lot of this product. And that's obviously personal preference. If you want slightly less coverage than me, if you are into super sheer coverage, you'll use a regular amount of this. Yesterday, I used more with using a brush. It took a lot more to get the coverage that I needed. Today, you saw how much I applied. It was still quite a lot. I've used this consecutively for 4 days now, and there's quite a lot of product disappeared from the tube. So I'm not quite sure how long this is going to last, and this is quite a pricey product, so definitely bear that in mind if you're thinking of purchasing this. So let's have a look at this in natural lighting so you can make up your own mind. As you can see, this is very light coverage. I would say sheer to light coverage. If you're wanting anything more than that, you are going to be disappointed. This is a skin tint at the end of the day. You are supposed to be able to see all your freckles and everything through this, which I love to see in the summer months, especially. Anybody that has freckles, please don't cover them up. They are beautiful. So you will notice, you can see all my imperfections through this, my acne scarring, any blemishes that I have on my skin, any discoloration is noticeable. A little bit of that is taken away by all my other products, adding that hint of sparkle. So you've got my mascara, bit of blush, concealer, that sort of thing. Just takes away from those imperfections slightly, which I like. I like the coverage of this. It feels really lightweight on the skin, and like I said, perfect for when you just want a lick of coverage. So this hasn't collected in my smile lines. It also hasn't moved at all into any fine lines on my face since first application. So that is definitely a positive sign. I will say though, I think that my texture and dryness is a little bit more evident. It hasn't been smoothed over, but this skin tint does not say that that is one of its traits. So I'm going to let it off. I'm definitely not mad at the skin tint at this moment in time. It did cling to some drier areas yesterday, but I exfoliated last night, so that dry skin isn't as evident today. But if you do have a lot of dry, flaky skin, this may not be for you at this stage. So I'm gonna do a wear test on this today as per usual. I'm not gonna wear it for 12 hours because yesterday on the hottest day of the year, I wore it for 16 hours and I have footage of what my face looked like after that amount of wear and that heat. So I'm gonna do slightly less of a wear test today so I can show you what it looks like probably after the 8-hour mark. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you all in a bit. Welcome back to the check-in. It's now been 8 hours since I first applied the skin tint to my skin. It's been a really long day. It's been very hot outside, even hotter in the studio, so this skin tint has had a real battle on its hands. So I'm going to show you 3 different videos in natural lighting of 3 different wear tests. The first one is going to be today's wear test after 8 hours in natural lighting. Just remember that I did have a super hydrating and nourishing SPF on underneath this skin tint today, which has made a big difference. The second one is going to be yesterday's wear test with a slightly less nourishing and hydrating SPF on underneath the skin tint, but the wear test time is 15 or 16 hours. Can't remember how long exactly, but I know it was a very long time. And the third video is going to be with a more mattifying SPF on after 8 hours wear. So let's go into the first one. This is today's wear test. As you can see, it is much, much shinier. I've actually had to blot this a couple of times and some has removed, so I don't have any really left on the tip of my chin. Also, some on my cheeks has disappeared and a tiny bit on my forehead as well. You don't notice massively because this is just a skin tint, so it's nowhere near as bad as it would be had this been a full coverage or even a medium coverage foundation, because you don't really notice when little bits disappear here and there. It doesn't look so bad, but there definitely is bits that have disappeared. Let's have a look at yesterday's. So as you can see from yesterday's, again, very shiny, but this is after 16 hours. And I think this looks better than today's. So for me personally, a slightly less nourishing and hydrating SPF is definitely the way to go for this one. Let's have a look at the skin tint after an 8-hour wear test with more of a mattifying SPF on underneath it. You will see this is probably the best wear that this has had. This is also probably the nicest that this skin tint has looked. This is the way that I prefer it. However, by using a mattifying SPF, I did emphasize my drier areas a little bit. So there is a happy medium to be broken here, and I'm not quite sure where it is at this moment in time, but I will find it because I have a feeling that with the hydrating properties of this skin tint, it's going to be the perfect skin tint when I just want that little bit of coverage through the autumn and all the way through the winter as well, when my skin tends to get a little parched and dehydrated. So let's just go through the tall claims that Shiseido make about this skin tint, and I can give you my thoughts. So firstly, it's a fresh, natural finish. Definitely, I would agree with that. I think it's looked beautiful regardless of whether I've worn a really hydrating and nourishing SPF or quite a mattifying SPF. I've really, really liked the finish all the way through the day. Secondly, it's 12-hour wear. Yes, I definitely agree with that. Yesterday I wore it for 15, 16 hours, and although little bits had rubbed off here or there, it still looked really nice on my skin. Light coverage, definitely. I mean, it's nothing more than light coverage. I don't think you'd even get a medium light coverage out of this. It's very natural. 24-hour hydration, yes, yes, yes. This has felt really nourishing and hydrating on my skin, but also felt weightless at the same time. Shine resistant, no. So I even got shine through this after putting this on over the top of a mattifying SPF, and I do not have oily skin, so I'm not sure if somebody with an oily skin is going to get on with this. But if you've already tried this and you have an oily skin and you have a different opinion to me, please do let everybody know in the comments section, because I'm eager to see if this would actually suit an oilier complexion. I will pass this on to my mum, by the way, and give it her to try, and we'll see what she says about it. This says it's also transfer resistant. Now, on the day that I used a mattifying SPF, I would say that that is more the case. Definitely not with any hydrating SPFs on underneath it though. This just lifted off even with a finger. So definitely not transfer resistant for me. You very much need to use the right products underneath this for that to be the case. Sweat and humidity resistant, I would partially agree with this. It's been very hot and humid here in the UK over the last couple of days, and I think this has held up pretty well. Waterproof, I haven't really tested that out. It hasn't rained here and I haven't splashed my skin with water, so that's something that I haven't checked out for everybody. Crease proof, definitely. This hasn't collected in any fine lines or wrinkles. It didn't collect in any pores, but it was a little bit more noticeable over my textured areas. So overall, I've really enjoyed this. Is it my favourite, and do I like it as much as the other Synchro Skin self-refreshing products? Probably not. I find the other foundations a little bit more versatile, whereas this is more of a one-trick pony. So over the last 4 days, the only day that I've powdered this in place was yesterday. I got back from a shopping trip with my mum and she looked at me and said, "You look a little shiny." So I blotted and I powdered a little bit. And I think that is why it lasted such a long time yesterday and it's not lasted as long today. That and the more nourishing SPF obviously didn't help. So if you powder this in place, it will look fresher for longer, but obviously it's all on personal preference and whether you like using powder in your makeup routine. So that's it for this video. I really hope you found it helpful. Let me know what you've thought about it in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a like, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.